The world around us is conveyed to us through our five senses, namely, eyes, ears, nose, body, and tongue. Since birth, man only knows the world the way the world is presented through these senses. Science is now beginning to see that everything we sense is merely a shadow of reality. The act of seeing occurs when the light from an object travels through the lens of the eye, and the light is then focused on the back of the eye onto the retina at the back of the eye. Here the light rays are turned from light into electrical signals. These signals are transmitted using neurons to the center of vision at the back of the brain. It is this part of the brain that constructs the image, and then you experience, for example, a flower. The video you are watching is seen in this area of the brain. When we say we see, we are actually experiencing the electrical signals converted by the brain to form an image. The brain never actually comes into contact with the flower, it is only the interpreted signals from the eye that one actually sees. The same situation is true for all the other senses. We are misled by our sensors to think that what we are actually experiencing, formed by the electrical signals, is reality. This is not to say that what we see is not there. What we see is only a fraction of what is actually there. Our sensors are limited, and therefore we see only a fraction of reality, and that too we tend to distort. For instance, if we see a flower in the external world, we only see the light traveling from the flower, which is converted into electrical signals by our eye, and when these signals are fed to the brain says yes, this is a flower. But we only received light which was further converted into electrical signals. The flower in its real form did not come into contact with the brain, so how can we say with certainty that what we saw was a flower? If the neuron, which is like a wire that carries the electrical signals from the back of the eye to the brain, is cut, then we will no longer see the so-called flower. We will see nothing, and the flower we think we see will disappear, because the brain received nothing more than electrical signals which the brain perceived as a flower. Again, there is a lot more to the flower than what we see. For example, someone who watches the stars in the sky assumes that stars are billions of miles away from them. Yet the stars are right inside themselves, in the center of vision. Whilst reading this book, you think that the book is outside of you. However, to the contrary, the book is inside of you. You seeing your body makes you think that you are inside of it. However, you must remember too that your body is an image formed inside your brain. So far we have been experiencing a so-called external world and the perceptions formed in our brains, the latter of which is what we see. But, since we cannot actually ever really reach the external world, how can we be sure that such a world really exists the way we think it exists? Definitely we cannot. The only reality we cope with is the world of perceptions we live within our minds. In order to be notified of my next video, remember to hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching.